Hey guys, and welcome to my Reading Rush vlog. So it's Monday in the morning. I just had my breakfast and cleaned my face a little bit and stuff like that. And it's the start of the Reading Rush today, and I'm super excited. Today I still have to work, so I think for now I will do my yoga in a second and then work for a while, and then in the afternoon I can fully start into the Reading Rush. And so the first book I want to start this off with is the new Jim Crow. This, as I said in my TBR video, is gonna be my project for this week. So I will read a little bit of this every single day. And to finish this on Sunday, I have to read about 50 pages every day. So that's what I always want to start off with and then go into my other books. But as I said, I will have to wait for afternoon to start this. So it's 2:30 in the afternoon now, and I think I will put my work aside now and start reading and maybe watching some more TBR videos, because I've seen that a lot of people have put up kind of last minute TBRs, so I want to check out what they're reading for the Reading Rush. And I'm just excited to really start the Reading Rush now. I will have my, work emails and stuff open because I work at a university, and tomorrow we have a pretty big exam that is taking place online. So the participants are a little bit afraid that there might be like difficulties and stuff like that. So I will be available for them if they have some last minute questions. But yeah, I think for now I can start reading. And as I said, I will start with the first 50 pages of the new Jim Crow. So I finished the first around 50 pages of the new Jim Crow now. That was the introduction. There was also kind of prelude and then the start of the first chapter. I was already in a rage mode because this is just very infuriating, and especially the introduction, because it touches on a lot of subjects that are then later explained in more detail. So you get the broad overview and you're like, oh my god, what even is this world? But it's so interesting, and this is definitely something that I've been missing in the whole, Black Lives Matter debate and the defund the police debate and stuff like that, is that most people don't think about the incarceration system. And I think this book was originally published in 2010, and it has been translated in, I think, 2016, this translated copy. And yeah, it's just so weird to me that I don't really hear, especially American people, talk about this. I've seen it on a couple of British channels, but I don't think I've ever seen it on an American booktubers channel. So yeah, definitely shout out to this book so far. It is quite eye-opening. So for the rest of today, I want to go into a lighter read, and that is, first of all, it's this little Disney book about the evil queen, and it has such a large font, so I hope that I can finish this today. I think it's around 200 pages or something. Yeah, it should be around 230 pages, so yeah, we'll see how fast I can read this. So it is the end of Monday, the first day of the readathon, and unfortunately I did not manage to finish Fairest of All, but I am more than halfway through, so I'm pretty confident I can finish it tomorrow, as well as read some more in the new Jim Crow. But yeah, I'm a little bit disappointed. I really wanted to finish my first book today, because it usually feels really good to, be off to a good start. But still, I have read a lot more today than I usually would. Well, maybe not. I've read about the same amount as I usually would if I really focus on reading, but that's okay. So it's Tuesday now, the second day of the reading rush. I just had my breakfast and did all the morning stuff, and now I'm gonna do my yoga, and then again today I have to work a little bit, but it's very exciting, as I told you yesterday, so I am pumped to see, how it all turns out today. I just did the math, and yesterday I managed to read 192 pages in total, which is definitely less than I was aiming for, but it's still good, it's not less than I would normally read on a weekday, so I think that's fine, and today I will just try a little bit harder with my reading.
Day one vlog.
So it is almost 5 in the afternoon now. I finished work, but I'm completely drained. I'm just so done with this day, to be honest. It all went well, but it was just so much. And yeah, just so much stress and so much kind of, I don't want to call it anxiety, but you're just worried for like hours that something might go horribly wrong, and a couple of minor things did go wrong, and that's also very stressful. People get really angry or frustrated or sad or some kind of stuff, and other people are just like, oh, I can't help you with that because that's not what I'm here for, and you're like, well, but who the hell is? So that's super frustrating all the time. But overall it worked out completely fine. I'm very happy with it, but I'm just drained now. And so I have my 2 books waiting here for me. And I'll do my best. I wish I could finish Fairest of All today and tell you more about that, and then also read my daily portion of the new Jim Crow. But right now, I'm not really seeing it yet. So I think for Tuesday I will call it a night. I have managed to read my part in the new Jim Crow today. I think I will talk a little bit about it tomorrow and tell you about what the beginning is about and stuff. I still have not finished Fairest of All. I have the tiniest little bit left now. But yeah, I will finish that tomorrow as well. And since I am on vacation starting tomorrow, I will have so much more time to read, and I'm very excited for that. But right now, I'm just tired and I want to go to bed. So that's what I will do. Good morning, guys. Today is a Wednesday, the 3rd day of the Booktubeathon, and hopefully the day where I finish a couple of books. So today I would like to finish 2 books and then keep on reading the new Jim Crow, obviously. So that's my goal for today. And since I'm on holiday now, I think that I can totally do that. But first I will do my yoga now, and then I will get into reading. So it's almost noon now, and I finally finished my first book, Fairest of All. I forgot to mention earlier that yesterday I managed to read a total of 118 pages, which still is super low for Booktubeathon or Reading Rush, sorry. But since I was working a lot yesterday, I think it's okay. But now I finally finished this first book, and this was for the Read the First Book You Touch challenge. And this is exactly what you would expect, to be honest. This is a alternate history of the Snow White movie, and you are following mainly the evil queen or wicked queen or whatever she's called. This starts off with kind of the day she met Snow White's father, the king, and how they, how he was just enthralled by her beauty, but she didn't really believe that she was beautiful because her father was quite abusive. So this has a lot of parental abuse, obviously. Later on in the queen's life, she is the abuser, but in her childhood, she was abused herself. I would definitely say that this is not a book for children, because it is quite dark. There's a lot of darker themes in here, but it still keeps the tone of a fairy tale. So I guess teens can definitely read this, but I would not recommend this as a, goodnight story to a child. I did like this. I think overall I would give it like 3.5 stars. Obviously, it is quite short. It's very large text and it's only around 240 pages, I think. So you don't really dive too deep into these issues. Also, this book kind of, in the beginning, the evil queen isn't evil, but you get other characters again that for some reason are, and that kind of divert her path so that she turns evil in the end. And that's just something that I'm not so comfortable with, because, the kind of origin of a villain is that there were other villains. That's just kind of weird. But obviously, a huge focus of this is on the death of the king and how that changes the relationship of the queen and Snow White. And yeah, I thought it was, surprisingly well done. I was expecting worse, to be honest. But I think if you are interested in these kind of villain origin stories and you want a very quick and fun read, I think you can't really go wrong with this. I didn't find it too problematic or anything like that. And I think that there are interesting themes in here. So yeah, that's what I think of this book. So now, my next plan is to keep reading the new Jim Crow. Again, I have about 50 pages I want to get read today, and I will keep you updated on that one. So I'm having my lunch now, and I wanted to do a quick kind of shout out, because this is vegetarian salami, and these are also vegetarian little sausages by a German brand called Rügenwalder Mühle, and I'm so obsessed with them. So I'm not vegan, I'm only vegetarian, so it works for me. I'm not vegetarian, what am I saying? I do eat meat, but like on very rare occasions, so don't like that label, but I don't like eating meat, so these are perfect options for me. Yeah, this is my lunch. So I promised I would talk a little bit more about the new Jim Crow today. I've now finished the first 2 chapters. I already talked about the introduction, so I will now tell you a little bit about those 2 chapters. The first chapter is kind of a historic introduction, basically. So it tries to focus on the original Jim Crow and where that came from, how it came to be, and what it entailed. I have to be honest, since I'm not American, I've never heard this term before, apart from the name of this book. So it was hard for me to really understand what Jim Crow is. I gathered that the name comes from some kind of caricature. Is that how you say it? I don't know, but it is basically, I'm not quite sure. So how I understood it is that it is referring to the segregation of black and white people that happened after slavery was abolished. And I don't know if Jim Crow is just a term that is used for like the legal situations, that it was legally possible to discriminate against people of color all the time, or whether it is a word for the whole thing. I'm not quite sure. So as I said, this is a completely new term for me, and so it's very hard for me to tell you whether I think that the analysis of this book is correct, because I don't really know what the term refers to, and I didn't feel like the first chapter gave me enough information as a non-American to understand that. Now, in the foreword of this book, this translated copy, the author Michelle Alexander wrote that this book is not written for people outside of the US. So I totally get that. She did not write this with the intention to educate other people about the system that was there in like the 50s and 60s, I think, or yeah. No, that's not right. I'm sorry, I get so confused with this kind of stuff. But yeah, the first chapter is basically more historical, and it tries to show, you know, how events happened, and that's obviously easy to understand. I just still am not sure what Jim Crow actually means and which part of the things she describes is referred to as Jim Crow. But apart from that, it's very interesting. I feel like I learned a lot about certain developments, and also how there's also kind of action, reaction, counteraction, stuff like that, following the abolishment of slavery in the US. And I think she does a very good job of showing how different groups, different political groups tried to take this theme of racism and handle it in different ways, and how it always got back to the point where racism was, you know, important, and people of color were discriminated against and left behind and stuff like that. And then the second chapter now, which I think is super interesting, shows you the kind of process of how people actually get into prison. And this is all focused around the war on drugs that was, I think, started with Nixon, but then Reagan was the one who really pushed it forwards. And then it, you know, disappeared a little bit under George W. Bush, but then Obama brought back a lot of it again. So yeah, I think that part is super, super interesting, because obviously I don't know anything about that. And I love that she tries to put in numbers wherever there are numbers available, and you can totally see how it's very hard for some of these things to even give you numbers, because you don't really know how you could even find out you know, the percentages of certain things. Like, for example, how many people say they committed a crime because they are kind of bullied into the statement, because, you know, they are told, if you don't say you did it, and we take you into court, and then court decides that you did it, your time in prison will be so much longer and stuff like that. So yeah, super interesting. And I love that this is a perspective that I usually don't have, because I'm a sociologist. So a lot of things that are, you know, about race and stuff I already know, but the legal system and the systemic side of it, and also, you know, the numbers and stuff like that is not what I focus on in my research. So I feel like I'm learning a lot of new things here, and that's just interesting to know, you know, to have a new perspective on this. So yeah, so far I am enjoying this, even though, yeah, this is all completely new to me, and I still have to wrap my head around stuff a lot of the time. Maybe one thing I wanted to mention at the end now is that there are a couple of repetitions that feel very heavy-handed. She's really trying to bring her point home, especially in the introduction, but in between the chapters, there's always little lines where you're like, yeah, you told me that like 4 times now. Thank you. I've not even read the half of this book, and you've already said that like 4 or 5 times. That's something that's bothering me a little bit, but it's basically the only thing I don't like. So yeah, we'll read more now. So it is now 2:30 in the afternoon. I just finished reading my part of the new Jim Crow for today, and I will take a reading break now, probably go grocery shopping and call my grandma, I think. I really should. And then I chose my next book, and as I said, I would like to finish another challenge today. I won't finish the whole book, but I will tell you in a second. Now, here's the next book that I'm gonna read. I chose some beautiful little bookmarks for that. I love this kitty one. My best friend got those for me, I think. And the next challenge that I want to do is the challenge with the book that inspired a movie you've already seen. And for me, it is a short story in this collection. And so, as I said before, I will only count the one story for now. If I get to read more stories in this book at the end of the readathon, I'll be super happy. But for now, I will count the one story that inspired the movie Arrival, which is called Story of Your Life. Yeah, that's what I want to finish today. Definitely finish today too. So it is the end of Wednesday, and I just finished the story by Ted Chiang, Story of Your Life, which is the short story that Arrival is based on. And it was so beautiful. I will give this story 5 out of 5 stars. It's amazing. I absolutely love this story. And I had a hard time imagining what it would be like to read a short story that, you know, this movie is based on, because you feel like there's so much in this movie. How would a person put that into a short story? Like, I always thought, yeah, maybe the general concept is explored in the story, but it's actually quite a true adaptation, apart from a couple of things at the end. But yeah, this was just so great, and I love stories like that. If you don't know the movie Arrival for some reason, it's one of the best movies I've ever seen, so please go watch it at least. And if you do like it and the concept of it, would highly recommend reading the short story as well. And I'm so excited that I have, I think, 7 more short stories of Ted Chiang in this book. So yeah, amazing. I loved it so much, and I had to read so many parts of this aloud to my partner, and we had to discuss it because it's just such an interesting concept, you know, to think that our sequential way of thinking may not be the only way you can perceive the world. And I love that. I love it. So yeah, I'm very happy that I decided to buy this book. I was debating on whether I should do that for the readathon or not, but I'm so happy that I did. It's amazing. So with this, I have finished the second challenge for the readathon, which was the movie prompt, and I will see whether I can read more than this one story from this collection during the week, but for now I will concentrate on the other challenges so that I can, you know, read for the other challenges first, and then I can go back to this and finish the other stories, I think. Good morning, guys. It is Thursday now, so the 4th day of the reading rush, and probably the last day of this part of the vlog. I think I will do a separate vlog for Friday, Sunday, and Saturday. That was weird. But yeah, it's Thursday, and I still have a lot of back pain, unfortunately. We'll see how I can deal with this today. But for today, I have 2 things that I want to achieve mainly. No, it's 3 things really. I want to read my portion of the new Jim Crow. Obviously, that's the first thing that I will do this morning. And then I would like to finish 2 other books today. So yesterday I thought about it a little bit, and I realized that I only need 2 more books to fulfill all the challenges. Even though I want to read 7 books this week, but I thought it would be wise to, you know, focus on those challenges that I could not cover with the books I've read so far. So that's the challenge to read outside and the challenge to read a book with the color of your birthstone. So today I think I will try to read 2 more books, and I will try to do those challenges maybe, probably, and I'll keep you updated. And then also, yesterday I managed to read 154 pages overall, and that is much better than the other days of the readathon so far, so I'm very happy with that too.
I'm not a loser of reading last. You know, I had played time. That's what it's called. The reading rash.
So it's 2:30 now, and I finished my daily portion of the new Jim Crow. I mainly finished off chapter 3, which was all about showing that this system of mass incarceration in the US right now is a racist system, and that all the practices that are being done there target minorities, and especially people of color, and especially Black people. And I just love the way that this book is written, because it is focused a lot on the actual system of, the justice system, basically. And I think it's the Supreme Court. What's it called in the US? I read the German copy, so sometimes I get the terms wrong, and I'm very sorry, but, it's not something that I'm used to talking about. So yeah, I think there's a lot about the Supreme Court and how the rulings of this court make it pretty much impossible to ever say that any part of the justice system is racist, which is mind-blowing, to be honest, because wow, didn't see that coming, you know what I mean? As I said, I love how this is written, because she finds the perfect balance between telling you all about certain cases that were very important for the legal system, but also giving you a lot of statistics that, are important to get the bigger picture and to really see how this is a racist system. And I think the balance between the two is so good, because, as a social scientist, obviously, I am addicted to statistics, and I know a lot of them too. But having those cases and the rulings with them and stuff like that is something I have no idea about. So I'm learning so much from this book, and I love the writing style. The only thing that is putting me off a little bit is how there's so many mistakes in the translation. Just little, just translating things that are wrong. So that's a little bit annoying, but the book in general is so interesting. And I think now the 4th chapter, I've only just started it, but I think that one is going to be about how having been convicted is changing your possibilities in life. I think that's the focus of the 4th chapter, and I will finish that tomorrow and let you know more about that in the second part of this vlog. So for the next challenge, I wanted to do the outside reading challenge, but now we had some work done around, the neighboring building, and it was so loud. So I hope that they're finished now and I can go outside and read. As I said, this is the last Tolkien book from the Tolkien Treasury box I haven't read yet. It's called Smith of Wootton Major. And this is just a short story, kind of, and the rest of the book is just notes and stuff. So, as I said earlier, or in my TBR, I'm not quite sure, I will definitely read the short story outside, and depending on whether they're done with their work, I will read the notes as well, or just come back in after finishing the story. But I really wanted to read this today. I feel like, to balance out all the anger I feel for the new Jim Crow book, not for the book, but because of the book, I need a little bit of balance today. So I'm back inside now, and I finished the story of the Smith of Wooden Major. I am not quite through all the other stuff that is in the back of the book, and I always love reading all this additional material, so I will definitely keep reading that later on. The story itself is quite interesting and cute. I think all these shorter stories of Tolkien kind of cutesy and fun, but they're not like Lord of the Rings or anything, you know what I mean? So yeah, it was cute, but I just enjoy reading all the additional stuff in the back of these books, so we'll do that. So since it is Thursday, it's now time for me to take a bath and read some more in the bathtub, and for that I will start The War of the Worlds by H.G. Wells. This is also a book that is on my TBR for the readathon, and this is an edition that, you know, I feel fine with taking it to the bath. So I'm out of the bathtub and I managed to read the first 50 pages in The War of the Worlds. And I must say that this book definitely took me by surprise. I don't know why. For some reason I thought it was published in like the 30s or something, but it actually was published in 1898. So it's a lot older than I thought it would be, and it's just so crazy how something like that was envisioned before the 1900s. It's just crazy to me. So I am enjoying this book a lot more than I thought I would. I have already read The Island of Dr Moreau, but that one was okay, but it was my favorite. I feel like this one is so much more readable, and yeah, so far I've really enjoyed it. So I'm quite surprised by that, because I thought it would be like an okay classic that I just wanted to check out because I love like genre classics. But yeah, if this can keep the pace and stuff, I will really enjoy it, I think. So for the rest of tonight, I will read a little bit more in Smith of Wooden Major. And as I said, I already finished the story, but I have all the extra material in the back of the book that I wanted to go through and just look at. And I just love reading about Tolkien and how he wrote his books. And I think that's so fascinating and interesting. So that's what I will do for the rest of tonight. So this is the last check-in for tonight and also for this part of the vlog. I read a little bit more in the additional material for Smith of Wooden Major, and I love Tolkien so much because he was supposed to write an introduction to another book. It's called The Golden Key, and he started his introduction with the words, "Don't read this, not yet." And I love this because I always find it so frustrating if you have an introduction for a classic that you have not read before, and the introduction spoils things. So if you're not used to reading classics and you know to just skip the introduction and head right into it, then you get spoiled. And I think this is just such a dumb thing, and he basically called it out in this introduction that he wrote. It was never published, unfortunately, apart from, you know, in this book, but I just loved it so much. And yeah, Tolkien was such a cool guy, I guess. So yeah, loving this book. So I hope you enjoyed this first part of the Reading Rush vlog. If you did, leave a like or a nice comment, I always appreciate those. And if you subscribe, you will see part 2 in a couple of days. So talk to you soon. Bye!